Welcome to Twisted Monday. If you're watching the VOD, which will be uploaded on Monday. If you're watching it live, the Twisted Marathon continues, and it has been a rousing success, a surprising success, I would say. I am pleasantly surprised by how it's going. I'm happy to continue it with my favorite game in the series. Happy Monday indeed to all who celebrate. And yeah, it's Twisted Metal Black. We know it. Hopefully we love it. I certainly do. There are only 3 characters left in this game that still need to be played as in full playthrough fashion. So, today's star will be conspicuously not manslaughter. It's Axel. There he is. He's severely depressed. Let's see what we can do to alleviate. Let's be his Prozac. Nice thing about Axel is very few cutscenes. I've been playing Twisted Metal games for nearly 6 hours already. I have many, many more hours to go. This is the 5th of 9 games, so in theory, I'm right around the center. Decidue really selling that it is indeed Monday. We all know it. We have every reason to believe it. Even though Axel is a bonus character, he is one of 2 that has a little info blurb here. He enters the contest to find and kill the man who murdered his wife. He knows that revenge is the only thing that will ease his anguish. But is he prepared to face his true love's killer? I suppose this is not the most appropriate character to have chosen for a stream that is meant to raise funds so that I can go live near my partner. It's a little awkward. Oh well. Axel's machine has a little more info about it. As Axel was fueled by pain and anger, he built the 2-wheel death machine for penance, strapped himself between the giant wheels to punish himself for the death of his wife. His guilt is eased each time his bare feet are shredded along the ground. Axel's special lets loose an electrified ring to damage nearby opponents. Rumored is a secondary special attack that advantageously uses the giant wheels. Can you find out who/what are the other 2 bonus characters/vehicles? Why, yes. Yes, I can. There they are. Yep. Look at them now. Anyway, they don't matter. Axel matters right now. Let's take him out for a spin. My wife, she was my life. And apparently Calypso says if we win, he'll be able to get revenge. As usual, he could just wish for his wife back, because Calypso is magic. He doesn't do a lot of magic in this game, but he is offering you anything you desire. You could at least, consider the idea. It probably wouldn't go well, because that's basically what Yellow Jacket was wishing for. Charlie Kane's son sort of wanted his father back. And instead, nothing happened in that final ending for Yellow Jacket. Massive anticlimax and disappointment. Same is the case with many of the bonus characters. Will Axel be the same? Most of us probably already know. Just in case, we're gonna find out. Calypso does tend to punish people for not wishing to murder, at least in this game. This is the evilest Calypso of all, and Calypso is almost always meant to invoke the power of Satan. The fact that he got even eviler for this game is saying quite a bit. I am doing basically no harm to anybody right now. Let's see if I can correct that. They changed the way a lot of energy moves work in this game. And here's the fabled alternate special, where you use the wheels themselves to harm your opponents. But how do you do this? For the most part, you do it with super awkward hitboxes that don't really work. But I sort of was able to reverse engineer how it's supposed to work by playing as Axel in Twisted Metal 2012, where you kind of like grind up against the target, and then hopefully you roll on top of them and bounce off and deal a ton of damage. That is actually what we are attempting to do when we roll up into a ball like that. Even if you do everything right, it might still not work. But if it does work, it does do a lot of damage. There. I just stomped Junkyard Dog. So, yeah, it's functional. And it's more effective than our normal special is. So I will be going for the alternate special pretty frequently throughout this run. And I will probably be failing it pretty frequently throughout this run. It also seems like even if you do everything right, if you get a successful hit, and then you go for a second hit, the second hit won't register, even if you do it perfectly. You're only allowed to hit once with the curl up into a ball, fetal position special. I think. Either that or I'm missing with my second hit every single time. Pretty sure you can hit a different enemy using one use of the special. But you can't hit the same enemy twice in a row. Again, unless you can. In which case, then you can. But I don't make the rules. I just try and reverse engineer them out of a very complicated and weird game. And Axel is maybe the most complicated and weird character in this complicated and weird game. His hitbox, as far as detecting the recharge platform, is the worst that I've seen in this game. Meaning it is going to be fairly difficult to get ourselves recharged in an emergency situation. But we're gonna have to deal with that. It's weird how they chose the balance, the secret special that Axel has. Because it's pretty powerful, but you can't abuse it. I have had 3 guys climb up on my vehicle in a row. Starting to feel targeted. But yeah, it feels like they really could have taken the limitations off of the bonus secret special to make it a lot more powerful, and it still would have been perfectly balanced. Axel is considered one of the weakest vehicles in this game. when used by the player. The AI can abuse infinite specials, thus making it one of the more obnoxious AI opponents. Not nearly as obnoxious as Roadkill, who's just hit me twice in a row with a fully powered special. That's Roadkill for ya. Oh, I should probably update the stream with regard to the GoFundMe, because this is in support of a GoFundMe, so that I can move, as noted earlier in this stream. And it is well over $1,000 towards its goal. Astoundingly. Still at 1180. There haven't been any further donations since the last time I checked. But 1180 is still spectacular. If anyone wants to contribute further, even if you're watching the VOD days from now, link in the video description. Thank you for any possible generosity that you may be able to express in this way. But also just thanks for watching. That is also important to me. Like I said, surprising how, like, I'm still doing relatively coherent commentary 6 hours in, which is nowhere near the end of this very long stream. I believe I expected to be further into these games by this point, but I'm not, and we account for that. Anything can happen in a marathon. Twisted Metal 2 went poorly. All that's left is Mr. Grimm. Even if he kills me, what do I care? But he didn't. A deathless first level. Off to a great start. This level doesn't matter. Anyone have a preference on what level we should do next? Because I sure don't. I'd say Axel is one of the few characters who has no particular benefit. Either way you choose. Suburbs got in first, but far more people are saying Freeway. So I'm afraid you've been outvoted, say so. Normally, there would be bonus content at the end of a stream, where I go back and play the levels that we missed. But obviously, today, I will be skipping the bonus content. There will be plenty of content without going back and playing unnecessary levels. Much as I enjoy doing it. Oh yeah, I forgot to read Axel's loading screen there, but yeah, he was reading the paper at the park with his wife. And then she just disappeared while he was invested in all the latest news. Catching up on his stories. Then his wife's gone. So I guess that implies that Axel was just like a regular dude. And then he sort of lost his mind when he lost his wife. And built a ridiculous torture device and entered Twisted Metal. But he didn't willingly lose Twisted Metal or enter Twisted Metal. I guess he got institutionalized, and that's where he lost his mind. It's always sort of unclear whether the bonus characters were institutionalized or if they entered the contest willingly, because Cage and I believe Manslaughter, to mix vehicle and driver arbitrarily, I believe they both entered willingly. Every other contestant was sort of volunteered by Calypso, or at least given the opportunity rather forcefully by Calypso, and none of them rejected that opportunity. My weapons bay is full. Time to just fire weapons from a million miles away, most of them to be absorbed by passing random civilian vehicles. Because I have weapons to spare. I didn't go for bullseyes, but I did get one. I'm frozen. So when you start doing the curl up into a ball special, typically your hitbox becomes active immediately. Even before Axel gets like fully encased in his wheels. It's a very awkward special. It really doesn't work great. But like I said, when it does work, it's very effective, like right there. It was the special that did that. Bit hard to tell, because the screen basically went completely black as that was happening. That is what went down. That is not the shield combo. In fact, I briefly forgot what the shield combo was. It's right down. But I wish I had remembered that in the heat of the moment. I think that registered as a special. I'm also pretty sure I hit the robot with the rolling special. Which I guess I should just call like the alt special from now on, because I keep changing what I'm calling it. And even I'm having a hard time keeping track of what I'm talking about. There we go, another one down. I still have 2 lives. Well, a life and a half, we'll say. Unfortunately, Axel's speed is terrible. So if an enemy is running away from you and you activate the alt special, you're probably not going to catch up to them. And it'll probably just go to waste. I had a feeling that would come up. The only other character with an alternate special. And it is a crime against humanity. Enough said. Hey, that actually did hit. I figured the target was too far away. All sorts of chaotic nonsense is happening. I expected to be dead already, and there we go. My expectations have been met. But the reason Axel's generally considered not very good in this game is because he's not good at anything. Armor is mediocre. Speed is mediocre. Handling, you're not gonna believe this, mediocre. And the special really doesn't do very much damage. It really doesn't have anything to offer as a vehicle. But the alt special does do quite a bit of damage. Which really improves the viability of this vehicle if you get sort of lucky and the alt special actually works. Most of the time I can sort of finagle it so that it'll work. Now that I know the basics of how it is meant to work. I wonder if that counted. No, I was frozen. So touching the top of the vehicle did not count as a successful use of the special. There's Mr. Grimm. He's much too fast to really do anything about. I'm about to game over. Kinda sucks. Health refills, as previously noted, utterly worthless in this game. At least Mr. Grimm's dead. But that is cold consolation. If I take 1 more HP worth of damage, like I just did. Ah well. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have a lot of options as far as ways to really make this run viable any more so than it was a second ago. Like, Axel actually does kind of suck as a vehicle. It probably should have had some higher stats in 1 or 2 spots. It's one of the few imbalanced things about this game, is Axel being kind of weak. It's funny because Axel comes from this level and is the most obscure unlockable. Maybe they don't want you to play as Axel, because they realized they screwed up the balance, they gave him a special that doesn't work really. So they just kind of hid him behind the most impossible to figure out unlockable method. If you look it up, it's your fault. That probably counted as a successful use of the alt special. But you do sort of roll over your target, so you don't even get a good look at their health bar, so as to tell for sure that you actually have successfully landed a special. Which makes it much less satisfying than other specials. Which is unfortunate. It's very satisfying in Twisted Metal 2012. Okay. Goodbye, cruel world. Car teleported. My immersion has been ruined. But I'm glad they accounted for that possibility when making this game. Okay, it's happening again. Why do I keep falling to the ground? It's probably no big deal. Okay, I think Sweet Tooth exploded there. Good riddance. It's true, new tech has been discovered. If you're in a hot zone, just fall through the ground. And away you go. It's this game's hyperspace. And the screen has gone pretty much pitch black again. I do hate the levels that do that, which is most notably this one and the junkyard. I should probably stick with the default special for a while, despite its relative lack of efficacy. At least it's easy to land and does something most of the time. So I've used all of my recharges, one of my lives, to kill one enemy and barely injure most of the others. Numerically speaking, this is very, very, very bad. If I were to just sort of spell it out there. Of all the characters that I intended to play throughout the Twisted Marathon, this is the one that I knew to be the weakest relative to the game that they are playable in. And it's also the one that, as a result, I practice the most. Just in case it went badly. But it is going worse than I expected. But it always does when I'm recording. Enemy aggression goes through the roof. The weirdest fall through the floor nonsense starts to happen. And I just play worse. I'm trying to commentate whilst playing. There are 2 or 3 more enemies I could conceivably kill. That's not enough to win. I kinda expect you to kill all of them, which seems a bit unreasonable, I think. Hey, I made it all the way to the top. We're flopping off on the wrong side. I wanted to actually fight the enemies. Okay, another one down. Acceptable. At least one more enemy is deep into the red. Yellow Jacket is, half HP. AXEL POWER is what I would say if I were being paid a preposterous amount of bits. But you just got it for free. And this is going fantastically. It's a good thing I shouted AXEL POWER.
Nice, Cash. Nice.
Hey, it worked. Who's left? Oh, I can take out Brimstone, no problem. As we've seen, Brimstone is probably weaker than Axel. Any preference for this level choice? Because once again, I do not have one. If anyone wants to make a power grab right now, now's your chance. I'm seeing 3 towns, 2 loops. That is a slight preference for the downtown.
Nice, gosh. Nice.
And an actual donation towards downtown.
Nice.
That clinches it. Money talks. So, 3 months later, her body was shipped to us in pieces.
Nice.
It took 8 months to get it all back, my dear wife. Had to really edge up. Axel getting his wife murdered. This is also one of the most poorly written stories in the game. But it's a little bonus story. Okay, we have a request to send these gas tanks a-rolling. Warm everybody up on this ridiculously cold Christmas day. Although this is the only Twisted Metal game that doesn't canonically take place on Christmas. Even the 2012 game strongly implies that it is Christmas based on the Metro City level, which looks just like New York City, specifically during Christmas time. I rolled over. Also, I guess Twisted Metal Lost would not take place on Christmas, because it's the same game as this one. Okay, that wasn't the right one, I guess. I remember the first time I was told about this Easter egg. I went to blow up the gas tanks, and of the 3 I could have chosen, I chose that one in the middle. The one that doesn't do anything. So I was like, oh, I guess this Easter egg doesn't do anything. I've been lied to, much like the Naked Raven cheat code. Alas, there is no such thing as a lie when it comes to Twisted Metal Black. Oh, why did that one zoomy missile just go off nowhere? And why was it the only one that actually worked? So I'm not really finding anybody that I can hurt. They're all outrunning me. My car is slow as hell. Why couldn't you have made your giant torture wheels much faster, Axel? It's like you don't even want to avenge your wife. Think of how disappointed she would be by this pathetic flagellation. I know I am. Yeah, my ult special's not doing anything. But obviously, we gotta keep trying. Ah well, it was never going to do anything. Against larger vehicles, it seems less effective, because it doesn't register unless it hits the, like, roof of the vehicle. And with small vehicles, that's a very small distance to travel, tends to register pretty easily. Used against things like Darkseid, I don't even know what is supposed to be happening. It's more confusing than anything else. I still haven't blown up the second building, which is obviously a very essential thing to do. More power missiles. Which clearly are pretty effective. Might as well get a bunch of them. Also, you sort of need to use a power missile in order to get the other power missiles. Am I blowing up that thing? Like so. Also, like this turbo. The only thing that consistently slows this game to a crawl is blowing up these buildings. I kinda don't want to get these right now, so I'm about to explode. But I will take manslaughter with me at least. There's so many weapons. I gotta take a lot of people with me. Dodged a Mr. Crim Scythe. But he just blind fired across the whole level and it still almost got me. There we finally go. Survived for a surprisingly long time on 1 HP. And another sick dodge. Death's Scythes coming my way. Everywhere I turn. Unfortunately, no real health refills available anywhere. Which could be lethal. But I've now been incentivized to perform above and beyond. Thanks to a resubscription. Many thanks, in addition to all the many other contributions throughout this lengthy stream so far. Okay, that was worth it, but I do have a bit of a task here. Killing 5 enemies on 1 life. Killing 4 enemies on 1 life. Any health refill back here? Nay. Oh, Mr. Grimm is uninjured. Just been wandering around fucking sides randomly. This whole level. Who's that green dot? Is that Darkseid still? Yes. He's had 1 HP for like 5 straight minutes. Another one down. Only 1 person runs out of that vehicle when it explodes. Which I guess would be the robot, because it's as tall as all the other characters. Charlie Kane's son is very young, and therefore not especially tall. I'm gonna try and shore up my health a little bit. Mr. Grimm has been pretty accurate with those sides. This is not going very well at all. Normally, Mr. Grimm is totally helpless, too. Figures. And now I have, like, absolutely no way to hurt anybody for the next 10 minutes. So Axel was a giant mistake here, but all the remaining characters I have are big mistakes. There's no way to have made this go any smoother at this point, unfortunately. And I'm getting word that the stream might be chugging a little bit, which is also unfortunate. On the bright side, I did decide to locally record this one. So at least the VOD will be cleaner. I don't know why the live stream would mess up. Always so very illogical. In light of this, I will very quickly pause the game. Axel does not want me pausing this game. I'm getting extremely bad bitrate right now. 700 bitrate. Excellent. No problem. That should maybe alleviate things a little bit, I hope. We'll see. I haven't dropped a frame since making the change that I just made. We'll see if it's enough, though. Like I said, it's a miracle that the entire stream hasn't broken down yet, due to the extremely inclement weather conditions. But so far, so good. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna want to start taking down the buildings again, because having a ton of power missiles would be one of the very few ways to speed this level up. Haha! So that is the power of the alt special. It actually does pretty good damage when you get a clean hit with it. Like I said, there's no real animation. Doesn't make any sense what we're doing. Thank you for the penny, in honor of the stream working again. Working better, at least. Who's behind me? You again. Sick dodge on my power missile. Leapt right out of the way as I was firing it. But I had plenty more. Initially, I wanted to do this whole marathon on the Monday after Christmas. That's actually how I announced it at the beginning of this month. But my work schedule didn't permit such shenanigans. But I did know that I would definitely have Christmas off because everything's closed on Christmas. I was going to have Christmas off regardless. And then I also got Christmas Eve off, so perfect time to play a game that canonically takes place on Christmas Eve. Even though this is the one game in that series that doesn't. Take out Darkseid once and for all. Won't have that big hunk of metal surviving all the way till the very end, despite its 1 HP left. In fact, we're doing much, much, much better this time. We're pretty much definitely going to win, it just is still going to take a long time. Because this character does kind of suck. But everyone seems to be having a good time. So, maybe it's a good thing that it's taking forever. And now it's going to take about a minute longer. Because my reticle got frozen. Wow. Just outright bullied by manslaughter. I don't know if my special worked there, but I assume it probably did. Manslaughter's HP pool is gigantic. It's largest in the game, outside of bosses, so it's a bit hard to tell if anything is actually happening when you're fighting him. Until he blows up. Then you can be relatively sure that yes, something happened. Another one down. Manslaughter about to die. Who's left? Just enemies that are outside of the radar range, so they won't tell me who they are. Okay, it is Yellow Jacket. And someone else. Mr. Grimm? Fair enough. But he's uninjured once again. He might just swoop by with Zoomy missiles. Blow me clean off the face of the earth. For it. Our special does so little damage I can't even wipe out an enemy who's deep in the red. On the bright side, I can take multiple ricochets before I die myself. Grimm would have to deal my entire health bar without taking a hit to win. He did not do so. But he certainly tried. It was a valiant effort. Let's see how our frame rate's doing. Still dropping about 33% of my frames. Maybe about a quarter of them. Which is less than ideal, but functional. apparently functional. Let's see if we can do anything special against Minion. Okay, the special just doesn't work. Typically, I don't worry too much about Minion, but anything's possible. Even with my strongest characters, Minion can just take me out before I even break the shield. Go, another panel down, only one left. It is the hard one to get. Is not making it vulnerable. It was briefly. There we go. All right. Last life. Gotta make it a nail biter. But not much of a nail biter. The boss itself is kind of like Darktooth, which, like I said, terrestrial vehicles, they really don't stand much more of a chance than the typical ones, even when they're amped up to ridiculous boss numbers. So, we shall bully one another back and forth, and I shall come out on top. Never really got too worried about it. Haha. Pretty solid. Made this vehicle with my own hands, my penance.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not, like, ridiculously good at Twisted Metal Black, but I do seem to be slightly above average at dealing with Minion. Although the people who are actually good at this game can consistently kill Minion without losing any lives, which I cannot. Ah, well. Now, I thought I would do pretty well here inside the cell block. So far, I'm not doing especially well, but yeah, more celebration. Quite a bit of celebration for taking out what I consider to be a pretty easy boss. But it all goes to good, important things. So, my tremendous thanks. I will attempt to convince myself that what I've done was worthy. Yep. Back we go. Back on your wheels, big guy. Let's find and harm some enemy vehicles. So far, I haven't killed or even significantly injured anybody, which is a problem. There we go. One down. As soon as this gate opens, I'm gonna go get a recharge. Much needed. It always opens much, much, much slower than I expect. And require. Fortunately, the enemies drove away. Till just about the moment that the gate actually opens. Okay. The Spectre special did about twice as much damage as I expected it to do. Really thought I would survive that, no problem. But there wasn't anything I could do about it. It's not even technically my fault. Should all hit. And indeed it does. And this should all hit. And indeed, it does. Bah. Got the health refill out of the helicopter. Which I was about to get. Really just prolonged this level unnecessarily. Yep. I thought my special was a projectile for a second there. Not at all the case. So I guess I should go back in. Lower decks of the ship. Pillage all the health refills. Yeah, I would say this level is dramatically better once all areas of it are accessible. The earlier bits are kind of gimmicky. And they feel like you're in a small part of a level. But I do like that the level does open up gradually. They did have to design a preposterously huge level in order to make that even vaguely viable. So this has always been one of my best memories of Twisted Metal, but it's also, I consider, one of the hardest levels in the game. For some characters, it is the hardest level. Let's find out if Axel is one such character. I am shooting a useless concrete barrier, not the guard tower. Okay, 10 out of 10 there. Do something with homing, and you're out of here. There's still so many enemies left. I was hoping that would be a reticle. I just need to find a viable target. There it is. Oh, you've only got like 2 HP left, right? Yeah. I didn't need a reticle for that. Massive overkill. Manslaughter's beating me up again. Punishing me for passing over him on the character select screen. You'll get your turn, Manslaughter. Oh, you'll get yours. Playing as Manslaughter here in the prison passage is my least favorite memory in all of Twisted Metal. Because he's excruciatingly slow. And this is the largest level in the game. So getting to a target takes forever. I had a miserable time playing through Manslaughter's campaign. And ever since, I have hated Manslaughter. Maybe I will eat those words in a couple of months when I finally have to play through as Manslaughter. ton of specials built up, so I don't really have to employ much strategy right now. Just get near a target and hit one button. You're pretty much guaranteed to hit him. Doesn't do much damage, but it looks impressive. Ah, satellite didn't do anything. Severely misjudged the way it works. Spectre's still here. Still a little bitter at that cheap death right as I was about to use my first recharge. I had a lot of weapons, but I died there too. Okay, Spectre destroyed somehow, and I guess Brimstone too. Just simultaneously blew up. Looks like that's a Yellow Jacket, that's all that's left. Okay, perfect time for the zooming. And this, what you just saw there, that is why Twisted Metal Black is my favorite Twisted Metal game. Oh, I copied the goddamn bot's message again. Snowy roads. Ah. Chat moderation is such a pain. But, the fact that you can pretty effectively take an enemy from full HP, like Yellow Jacket just was, and through skill alone, whittle them all the way down to nothing pretty quickly, and have it be very satisfying and very fair the entire time. That is what I think makes Twisted Metal Black the best Twisted Metal game. Being able to do that relatively consistently. Once you're pretty good at the game, best feeling there is. Of all the games in the series, it gives you the best feedback to tell you, yeah, you're good at this game now. I'm dead. I'm bad at this game. Yeah, sorry, I should probably warn people when their heads are about to explode because the environmental attack is going to hit 5 enemies at once. But it is going to happen multiple times, still. Okay. Yep. I mean, after Twisted Metal 1 showed Christmas Eve to be a matter of, like, sunny highways. Seeing a nice snow level like this is kind of necessary. I sure wish I could get over the concrete barrier there. I very well could have died there. Fortunately, I clipped onto the right side of the barrier. Okay, I lured out Sweet Tooth's special right after I was no longer capable of being hit by it. So that's best case scenario. The shape of AXEL, though, as far as what constitutes being on your wheels, is clearly becoming a problem. Not a severe problem, it still works, but it works more poorly than any other vehicle in the game. It's our punishment for being the most absurd vehicle in the game. Bah. 5 enemies left and only 1 life. It's a bit of a tall order. I've dealt with worse, but this is an uncommonly bad vehicle. Get him with a little bit of lightning. I don't have much hope here. I don't have a lot of weapons, and there are not very many health refills in this entire level. Repent. Tragic. Thanks for stopping by, Desidue, and I do hope to see you again when we get to later games. Not missing much right now. Although I do like this level enough to not mind replaying it. It always goes by quickly. Typically I can win it pretty easily. Only 1 person fell off last time. Which is rare. Usually a bunch of people fall off. It is probably about to be deafening. Nope. Pretty quiet, actually. I think I blew out the game's ability to produce noises the first time through. There's the very well-hidden platform. Axel's on his head again. Turtle on his back. Oh man, these concrete barriers. Axel is shaped in such a way that he cannot handle these concrete barriers. It is embarrassing. Okay. Another one down. I got plenty of lives. I think I have all my recharges left. The numbers are looking pretty good right now. Despite the fact that I've done very, very little of value. Let's do our gathering. Uh-oh. Why did that happen? I have no idea how I gained so much momentum so quickly. And why I wasn't able to stop it despite landing pretty cleanly on the lower platform. Very weird. Still entirely doable, but I landed and immediately got the hell beat out of me, so the numbers are no longer looking good. Totally useless satellite missile. Can't get anyone in special range. Can't do anything. And it happened again. Why does that keep happening? Yep. Axel thought about his wife. Hurled himself right over the edge. Axel's acceleration is not very good. I don't know how he keeps boosting so quickly into oblivion. But I can barely control it. Oh well. Okay, everyone's lined up. Zap as many people as we can. Clearly we need the advantages. No one fell over the edge. There. Manually send people over the edge, if I have to. I'll send everybody over the edge. Do unto others what has been done to you. The golden rule of Tool. Get on the platform. Most awkward vehicle in the game. No one wanted to get in range of my satellite missiles for some reason. Sweet Tooth pumped an entire special into Manslaughter. I do appreciate it, and he's doing it again. Sweet Tooth hates Manslaughter. Convenient for me. That is less convenient for me. But half the enemies are dead. If you sort of charge towards an opponent, and then fire off your special as you collide with them, their backwards momentum is amplified by the power of the special. The AXEL power, you might say. And they go flying. Which is how I was able to dunk multiple people into the abyss. Okay, I have no weapons, which is a small problem. Plenty of HP, though. And all the enemies are near death. Wouldn't mind regenerating a special right about now. Didn't need it. Machine gun will do. That worked well enough. This is the last battleground. Basically just like a generic thing. I guess they ran out of stuff to say about Axel and his plight. I honestly considered for a second that I might have to go regenerate my lives because I played too many PS1 Twisted Metals today. They regenerate automatically between levels. For added convenience. Which has always been one of the best design choices here in Twisted Metal Black. Can't believe it took 5 games for them to figure out that that would be the best way to do things. Could try flinging enemies off of this level using the same momentum thing that I did last time. This level isn't nearly as narrow as the last one, so it's way less likely. But like, if I did that properly, it would have worked great. Instead, it did not work great. It worked as not great as possible. Yeah, Head-On has a broken life regeneration system, but only in Extra Twisted Edition. Default Head-On for the PSP That one does allow you to regenerate your lives automatically between levels. And of course, Small Brawl, but that's Small Brawl. We don't talk about that one. Until the next game, when it's all we talk about. That should be the death of her, right? Yeah, there she goes. Matador right over the edge. Yeah, Small Brawl is indeed part of the marathon. Even though it's like barely a Twisted Metal game. It's really a game that happens to feature Twisted Metal characters. But you know, it is what it is. I'd be disappointed if someone said they were going to play through every Twisted Metal game and then skip Small Brawl. Really should try and boot people over the edge, though. That was a good plan, even though it worked out very, very, very badly last time. I'm stuck. Because Axel is also shaped weirdly. It sort of wedged the concave part of his hitbox up against a narrow portion of the wall. Then you'll have to back up very carefully if you wish to disconnect from the wall. Axel is like a big puzzle piece, slotting perfectly into numerous protrusions throughout the game. Still alive, though. 2 kills in, I'm still ticking. Have had to use 1 recharge, and I really need to use the second now. Which does put me a little behind the 8 ball, if we're being honest. This game actually has much worse energy move detection than Twisted Metal 3 and 4. Which has caused some issues. Admittedly, not very many issues, but some. It's also a much harder game than basically any other in the series. So you really do rely on precision and basic mechanics working properly. And sometimes they don't. Oh, I can't believe that missed. Plenty more where that came from. Enemies are doing a terrible job jousting right now. Normally they're way better at that. Way more obnoxious about it, too. Double kill. So, only 3 enemies left. I have all my lives. That's a pretty good deal. No more recharges, though, and not a lot of life pickups. I'm still at about a point where I could go point for HP and still ultimately win. Especially now that I'm about to fight ahead. A number of lives versus number of opponents. Apparently I counted my chickens before they hatched. Because Brimstone ran away with 1 HP. And thus is still alive. Oh, never mind. Another double kill. So, who's the last survivor? Who dares insult me? By continuing to draw breath, it's Spectre! Delightful. One of the only remaining vehicles that I haven't played as yet. Spectre and Manslaughter are the only 2 remaining after this. And there we go. Deathless run of the final level. On to the final boss.
Time's up.
Oh yeah, Axel consistently has one of his arms chopped off in the other Twisted Metal games. But in this one, it's all foot torture. Seems like they could have made the body more gruesomely mangled when he's at low HP. But no, they just made the wheels wobble a little bit. Which is a pretty good effect. Okay. The tanker has been behaving very badly. That is an occupational hazard. And you choose to fight the final boss. I don't think the tanker is close enough to the helicopter to score a hit. No, no way. It worked. Never mind. Must have been right on the very outskirts of what counts. Yeah, successful shield damage, though. I don't like the odds of this one either, but it also worked. Now to use our special. It does hit the boss just fine. I seriously doubt the alt special would get to it, because that involves physically colliding with the boss. Which I guess was a bit of a logistical error when I was planning the Let's Play, and chose to fight the final boss with Axel. Because this is the one level where you absolutely cannot show off the alt special in any effective way. That's satellite, thankfully. Do that. Special delivery. Fortunately, once you get knocked the slightest bit, all your momentum goes in that direction. And you do sort of lose control. Not ideal against such a dangerous boss. And I think he was trying to sweep me over the edge. That would have been a shameful way to die. Not like the way to die that I'm about to show off. Oh, the boss died. Never mind. Hooray!
I had won the contest. I went to Calypso and demanded my prize. I wanted to know who killed my wife. And I wanted revenge. It was him. That freak in the ice cream truck. He was always around the neighborhood. Why hadn't I been more careful? I should have said something was wrong. It was my fault. Maybe I was really the one to blame for my wife's death. But then, he spoke to me.
Your wife, she didn't die easy. You should know, she begged for you as I killed her.
The clown is dead, but so is my wife. I will never be free.
Clown was dead, but so was my wife. A classic, tragic twist. No way Axel could have seen that coming. Yeah, disappointing ending. Also voiced by J.S. Gilbert, who voices Sweet Tooth. So that cutscene was just J.S. Gilbert talking to himself. With some extremely heavy voice modification. Distracting voice modification. So yeah. Once again, another bonus character with a relatively weak story. The character was fine enough. I mean, it's clearly underpowered. Dumping more bits. I appreciate it. Awesome. So there we go. If inclined, donate to that GoFundMe. I really, really need a tremendous amount of help, which I have gotten so far. Everyone who's helped me thus far can't even begin to express enough appreciation, but I'm trying, and I will continue to try for another numerous hours as we continue through the Twisted Marathon. For now, though, I am Fiendly, and I thank you for watching Twisted Monday.